All right. The wait is over. The college football playoffs begin this weekend. One game on Friday, three games on Saturday, and we started trickling down from 12 to 1. This is the Bearing Down the Gridiron on the Playmakers Squad Sports Network. Live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on LinkedIn. And the show starts right now.
I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. Okay. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing.
What's up, good people? How you doing? Happy holidays. We are literally 7 days away from Christmas Day. Hope you're getting ready for that. And we are 2 weeks away from 2025. Yes, this year of 2024 is almost over. Hope this year has been good to you as it's been good to me. But yes, I am here. The Playmakers in the building, bear down the gridiron, because the CFP playoffs begin this weekend. The first round starts on Friday and Saturday, and we start from 12 and we work our way down to number one. Who's number one in the land? Who will take home the first ever 12 team college football national championship? And I'm here to talk about it. We're gonna get into some other thing. I got some couple of news and notes for you, and I think I'm gonna talk about some coaching changes that have taken place. Some noticeable coaching changes, should I say? Okay, some noticeable ones. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get right into it, and let's get into action. If you're listening right now, if you listen on our YouTube channel, the Playmakers Blog YouTube channel, thank you for checking in. If you listen to our YouTube, Facebook page live on there, and if you're watching on my personal LinkedIn page, I thank you very much for tuning in, listening in. So we're gonna do what it do and make it happen. All right. So without further ado, as we begin this holiday spirit, let's jump right into our 2-minute drill. And to begin our 2-minute drill, speaking of coaching changes that have taken place, I have an interesting one here. Ladies and gentlemen, as my slides are not up, let me get my slides up real quick. Hold on. There we go. Michael Vick, the former NFL star, the star in the early 2000s with the Atlanta Falcons, he said he's taking the coaching job at Norfolk State. Good to see that Michael Vick is getting back into football. It's good to see the fact that he's going to take place in this realm to do some coaching. This is going to be interesting because usually when you're quarterbacks, not many quarterbacks that I know that are head coaches in college or NFL right now. Those of you who do know, throw some names out there. None's coming to my mind right now because, Troy Aikman, he's a commentator. Tom Brady, commentator. Dan Marino was an analyst. Phil Simms, analyst. Some of the quarterback names that popped in my head: Donovan Maz not calling games. You do have Tony Romo calling games, but not coaches. All right, but not coaches. So I want to see how Michael Vick transitions this. Eddie George is doing well at Tennessee State as a running back, as a former player. Prime time Deion, we know what he's doing at Colorado, former cornerback, good guy. But quarterbacks and coaching, I want to see how this works. So, Vic, I want to see you do some good things. I want to see how you do. Oh, by the way, shout out to Teddy Bridgewater. Speaking of quarterbacks, that was coaching Miami Northwestern to the state championship down in Florida. Good congratulations to you, sir, beating the Reigns Vikings, which I know personally because I stay in the city of Jacksonville. Reigns Vikings is from Jacksonville, beating them to win the state championship. So, shout out to Teddy Bridgewater and that accomplishment there. Want to make sure I get that in there. But outside of that, you don't really see former quarterbacks, former known quarterbacks going into coaching and doing well. So you got Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame Kurt Warner. He's an analyst for NFL Network. I mean, so I'm going to see how this works. But nice to see Michael Vick back into football. Now he's going to be a coach at Norfolk State. Hope he does a good job up there in Virginia. And shout out to you. Next set of news we're going to go to. Speaking of coaches, oh no, we got this. This is interesting. Ivy League to participate in football college series playoff starting next season. I saw this. I was like, this is something I didn't know. I did not know that the Ivy League could not participate in the playoffs, which is very interesting for me. In a dramatic shift, the Ivy League's football team are now going to be able to compete for the FCS National Championships. Starting in 2025 season, the Ivy League teams will be able to play in the CFC postseason. The genesis of the change for the Ivy League to play in these playoffs came via a proposal from the Ivy League student athletes. The proposal from the Student Athletes Advisory Committee, SAAC, was approved Tuesday by a vote from the Ivy League chair of counting presidents, which is a very good thing. I'm happy that they did this. And words they had to say this quote: "The Ivy League prides itself on a story, tradition of impact, influence, and competitive success throughout the history of college football. We are now looking ahead to the new chapter of success and to further enhancing the student athlete experience with our participation in the NCAA FCS playoffs. I want to commend," this is from Executive Director Robin Harris, the Ivy League Executive Director. He also went on to say, quote, "I want to commend the students of our SAAC for their thoughtful and thorough proposal as well as their commitment to the league's legislation process," close quote. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the student athletes. You got what you needed. You got yourself into playing for some championships in college football, which I did. Like I said, I didn't know that was the case. That was news to me. I thought they was already doing that, but you know, Ivy Leagues, they do things a little bit different around them parts there. You know, the Yales of the world, the Harvards of the world, the Princetons of the world, stuff like that. But hey, good progress. They are making progress, and that's all you can ask for is progress. And that's what they're doing. They are making progress. So you can't ask for much more than that. Then going back to the coaching ramps, Wake Forest hired Washington State's Drake Deckard as head coach. 2 days after the surprising resignation of Dave Carson as the head coach of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, they have hired head coach of the Washington State Cougars, Jake Decker, as the replacement on Wednesday. Gotta say, a lot of coaching changes, a lot of student athletes and transfer portals, the NIL, there's a lot going on. It's a lot of changes going on in college football, which I do need to say here, right now. We need to find a way to handle the transfer portal. I get that you want to be able to go somewhere where you can play, get some film, try to get to the next level of the NFL. But we need to do something with the transfer portal. The transfer portal should not open right after the last week of the regular season or conference championships week. Okay, because you got bowl games and you got the college football playoff. We need to do something with the scheduling wise with the transfer portal. Wait till after the season starts. Well, it's kind of difficult because you know fall/winter semester ends at this point in time. Spring start at this point. It's a lot of things, so we need to find that little window where it's good for the game that to have the transfer window open at a certain point in time and close. Why not also hurting the student athletes when it comes to scheduling classes, making sure they get into the school for grade reasons or GPA reasons, whatever the case may be. We need to find a way to make sure we can balance that out because there's so many transfers, and the reason why Marshall is not playing in their bowl game, which I was looking forward to with them against Army, because their whole damn team transferred, basically. That kind of sucked because I was looking forward to that Independence Bowl game between them. You had the Sun Belt champion against the American champion. I was looking forward to that game. You got high scoring team. Both teams won their conference championship in blowout fashions. I was looking forward to that game. But I can't because they had a coaching change at Marshall. And then the whole damn team say we're going into the transfer portal. We got to do something about that. I'm just all I got to say. We have to do something about that. All right. So that is your 2-minute drill. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, I think I'm going to dive into some coaching news. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll be back.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
WWE Shop is your online source for all things WWE. Be a part of the site, man, and score wrestling gear for big events like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. From current superstars to legends, from Raw to SmackDown to NXT. Don't miss this chance to shop for the most awesome WWE merch. Shop for the best deals as well as WWE gift cards and save big on your favorite items. WWE Shop at Fanatics Experience.
Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there seeing LA Knight. Oh, okay. And then LA Knight hopped out the car. Let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bearing Down and Gridiron on this Wednesday, December 18, 2024. Now, before we talk college football playoffs, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Travis Hunter winning the Heisman. I know there's been a lot of mixed emotions out there that depending on how you value the Heisman, depending on how you look at statistics, depending on how you watch the players play, they got people out there that didn't think Travis Hunter deserved it. Yeah, people out there that said Travis Hunter was the only rightful choice. Here's my thing. You could have went either way, and I say this last time we did Bearing Down the Gridiron after they made the whole Southwest selection with Cole Johnson and Brian Snow on the program. You could have go either way. It doesn't matter. You could do a coin flip. Ashton Genty get to. I have no problem with it. I want to give it to him. He had a hell of a season. Almost 2,500 yards rushing, 29 rushing touchdowns. Also, he had 100 yards receiving with a touchdown. So you're talking about over 2,500 yards of total offense and 30 touchdowns from one guy from Boise State, who is the number 3 seed, who is the 3rd seed in the college football playoffs, or the guy or the two-way player at Colorado, where he plays wide receiver, he plays cornerback, he doesn't come off the field, 1,000-yard receiver, 14 receiving touchdowns, 11 pass breakups, 4 interceptions. The man, he is an Iron Man. Either way, depending on how you look at it. Travis Hunter, hell of a season, great job. You'll be a top 5, top 10 pick in the NFL draft, deservedly so. Looking forward to see what you do on your way out. I think you playing against BYU in that Alamo Bowl. Was, by the way, if you haven't read my blog on the Playmakers blog website, the bowl games outside the bowl games outside the CFP you should want to watch. BYU and Colorado is definitely on that list. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, they last go around. Plus, it's 2 Big 12 teams going at each other who never played, by the way. So when we went through that whole talk of who's going to win the Big 12 out of the 4 teams, which ended up being Arizona State winning over Iowa State, and you had BYU and you had Colorado, they never faced each other. So we get to see what happens in the bowl game. With everybody put certainly be there. Well, we know that from Colorado side. We haven't heard anything from BYU side, but nevertheless, shout out to you. Speaking of Ashton Genty, the Maxwell Award, Best Offensive Player, and he also got the Best Running Back Award. Cam Ward got the David O'Brien Trophy for being the best quarterback. So, got to get the awards out the way. Just want to make sure that we understood. We got the awards out the way. Now, before I continue on, shout out to my big brother Wise at Hefe for having bearing down a gridiron on the World Rise Radio. You will catch that this Saturday, right before the SMU Penn State game. Okay, right, leaving you right to the SMU Penn State playoff game. So that'll be something for you to watch, something for you to listen to on your way to doing whatever, getting you ready for the CFP playoffs round 1. All right. Also, 502 American Angel Radio. Shout out to y'all as well. Now, let's get to it. Let's talk coaching changes, shall we? Those are coaching changes. It's only 3. It's only 3 we're gonna talk about because this is only 3 that really piqued my interest. All right. You see, Bill Belichick. Yeah, Bill Belichick is on here. Rich Rodriguez in the middle, and then on the far right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Scott Frost. Okay. Now, who we starting with first? Oh, we're starting with the biggest name first. Chapel Bill now. It's no longer called Chapel Hill. It's called Chapel Bill because Bill Belichick is now the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. The 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach for the New England Patriots. Spent the year off and he's been doing TV inside the NFL with Ryan Clark and company. Weekly appearances on the Pat McAfee show on Mondays. Okay. But Bill has been a man who wants to coach. He didn't really get no offers from the NFL. The only real offer he got was Atlanta, where Raheem Morris got the job. North Carolina, they say there was parting ways with Matt Brown after the North Carolina State game, which they did. Terrible season for North Carolina. I mean, you gave over 70 points to James. No disrespect to James Madison. James Madison got a hell of a squad. But they went to Chapel Hill, in this case Chapel Bill, and dropped over 70 points on you. They scored over 50 in the first half. You kind of seen the writing on the wall after that game, by the way. So we have a 6-time Super Bowl head coach champion, a man who is, I forgot how many games he's away from having the all-time wins record for the NFL, but Bill wanted to coach. Now, is it a 1-year time there? I think he has a 5-year deal. I think it's a 5-year deal, $50 million contract, if I remember correctly. But there are still rumors out there that it might only take him 1 year to get back into the NFL. That's what the rumors say. I'm not saying news. I'm saying rumors, not news, rumors. Okay, that it might be 1 year, one and done for Bill Belichick because he has a $1 million buyout. That's really what it is, a $1 million buyout from what I when I read the news reports from ESPN, Fox, and all that stuff. Nevertheless, I'm interested to see how Bill Belichick does in North Carolina. He's in college now. He is pretty much somewhat familiar with North Carolina. His dad coached at North Carolina back in the day, even though his dad coached a longer time at Navy. But his dad started, I think his dad was at North Carolina before he went to Navy. So Bill Belichick has some familiarities with Chapel Hill. He also talking about Mike Lombardi being in as the GM, which they have a great close connection from their days at New England with the Patriots. It's going to be interesting. See how Bill handles the NIL era. He said during his induction press conference that it's going to be a football model to the NFL, a pipeline to the NFL, as how he put it. And I think he has a structured system of how he's going to handle NIL, how he's going to play these players and have them set up to understand how the NFL works so that when they get to the NFL, they already understand what they are doing and what they're getting into. I'm going to see how Bill Belichick does all that. I want to see how Bill Belichick is going to recruit these players as well. Because in NFL, you can tell a guy he's worth this. This is what I'm offering you. This is how many years I'm giving you. Sign here, and we can keep going moving forward. That's all you got to do when you're the GM in the NFL. Find guys that fit your system. Tell them how much they worry. This is what we're going to do. This is how much we're going to give you, and let's go forward. College is different. You got to be able to recruit in college. Are you able to go into these high school players' homes, look them parents in their eyes and their sons in their eyes and tell them what it is, how it's going to be, and this is what I'm looking for? And they'd be okay with doing it. You will think yes, because that is Bill Belichick. That is in your house recruiting your son. You would think yes. But college is a little different. I want to see how Bill Belichick does in college. He hasn't coached in college. He's been around college because his dad, that's where it started at. But he hasn't coached in college. So I want to see how he coaches in this era of NCAA football. Good hire, though. Very good hire by North Carolina. Giving us something to look forward to up in Chapel Hill. Okay? Something to look forward to. So those in the blue, the Tar Heel blue, be excited for next year's season. Okay? Now look at your schedule. Not a difficult schedule. So we can see some wins up in North Carolina. So we can see what Bill Belichick is going to be cooking up in year one up in Chapel Hill. Looking forward to this. I don't know about y'all. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to watch North Carolina in 2025 to see how Bill's going to work this out up in college. It was his first experience in college. Remember that. It's his first year. Now, those of you who know me, I like to give coaches 3 years. So Bill gets the same treatment. I'm going to get. Now, if Bill Belichick gets offered in the NFL, he goes to the NFL, that's on him. But for me, I'm giving Bill Belichick 3 years. Where you going to be at 3 years, Bill? Where is North Carolina team going to be at in 3 years? Year one, I'm going to take it as it is. Take it as it is. For my Tar Heel fans, year one under Bill Belichick, take it as it is. No expectations. No expectations. Look at the schedule. It's all right, Bill. Year one, we're going to let you do what you do. What the results is, the results going to be. And we want to see improvement in year two. Then we will see their full direction in year three. That's how you look at it. Give you an example. Mike Norvell at Florida State. Year one was terrible. It was terrible at Florida State. Florida State fans were losing their damn mind. They was ready to fire that man after 1 year. Like, the man just got there. He hasn't been able to recruit yet. Year two, you got better. You just missed out. You just missed out on winning the ACC, but you got better. Year three, went undefeated. Won the ACC. Unfortunately, Jordan Travis got injured. You was left out of CFP playoffs, which was 4 teams at the time. And then you did what you did, which led to what happened this year, year 4, right back down to the bottom of the barrel. I mean, so far at the bottom of the barrel, I don't even remember the last time Florida State was this bad. But hey, year 3, he had Florida State undefeated, winners of the ACC. They just got snagged up CFP because their quarterback got hurt and the Florida State team didn't look the same. All right, that's that. Let's go to my team. I use my team as an example. Billy Napier for the Florida Gators. Year one, yeah, okay. But it's year one. I took it as it is. I think it was like 6-6, something like that. Year two, yeah, okay. Doing better. Made a bowl game. No, year one, we made a bowl game. Got beat by UCF in the bowl game. We didn't even show up for that game. Year two was bad. What we did at Florida State in year one of Billy Napier, they did to us last year, and we didn't make the bowl game this time. Okay. This season, it was year three for Billy Napier. Came in with the number one schedule. The number one schedule in all the college football. The number one schedule. It's a worth start. Blown out by Miami. Blown out by Texas A&M. A little shaky. Got to win at Mississippi State, who was terrible, by the way. Looking down. But we didn't even hit the gauntlet yet. We didn't even get to Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, LSU, Ole Miss. We ain't hit that gauntlet yet. So we sent. I think it was 3-3 at the time, 2-4 at the time when that gauntlet hit. Because by the way, because we went to Tennessee, we could have beat Tennessee, but we lost. Our quarterback throwing a touchdown. He threw a touchdown pass and tore his ACL. Like how unfortunate was him and the Gators. Okay. Graham Mertz, shout out to you. Thank you for your 2 years of service down in Gainesville. Appreciate it. You was a leader. I can tell you that you was a leader. Even after you got injured, you stayed around with the team. You stayed around DJ Latway, and you was a leader. Thank you, sir. He get hurt throwing a touchdown pass. We lose that game. In overtime, by the way. In overtime. When you talking about the Tennessee Volunteer, you have the same Tennessee Volunteer that's in the college football playoffs. That team. Another team that's in the college football playoffs and the ACC champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. They won in the fourth quarter. Because right before halftime, DJ Larry got hurt when we was up 10 at the time. We had to bring in a third string quarterback. Even though Carson Bed threw 3 interceptions. The fact that DJ Larry got hurt and we had to play in the third string quarterback, we didn't look right. And Georgia was able to survive that game. It's looking terrible for Florida. Go to Austin, Texas, and we get our ass whooped, as expected, with a third string quarterback going against that Texas team who is trying to bounce back from losing to Georgia and trying to rewrite the ship and all that good stuff. We get our ass whooped. It's looking dead. We still got LSU. We still got Ole Miss before we play Florida State, and we trying to get to 6 wins to be bowl eligible. Trying to get to 6 wins here. It's looking dead. And by the way, LSU and Ole Miss was ranked, and they are fighting for make it to Atlanta. Well, LSU, they came to the swamp, and their season drowned it right then and there in front of Brian Kelly's face. And then the following week, I think LSU was ranked 22 at the time. And then the following week, and this is after the ADs gave a vote of confidence to Billy Napier, say he'll return next year. That point after that Texas ass whooping turned the whole season around because we knocked off LSU, who was ranked 22nd in the swamp in their season. You have 9th ranked Ole Miss coming in now. Now they ears are perked though. It's like they just took out one of our competitions. So now we had the business against them, and other things keep happening. We might move up. Well, guess what? Lane Kiffin saw his season get drowned in the swamp as the number 9th ranked team, and their chances of going to the CLP and playing for the ACC championship went up in smokes down in the swamp. We are bowl eligible all of a sudden, knocking off 2 ranked teams that we had no business knocking off. That Florida Gators team came with confidence. They knew their coach was coming back, and they started playing some football. And of course, we did what we did to Florida State. Won 7 games this year. The number 1 ranked schedule in going into the season, and year 3 of Billy Napier, and we handle business. We get to a bowl game. We have Tulane coming up Friday at 3:30. Give these new coaches 3 years. That's all I'm saying. Give them 3 years at least. Just give them 3 years. Year 1. Just let year 1 play out. Just let year 1 play out and handle business. Then you'll say, all right, this is where we started at. So we want to see improvement. Not significant improvement. That's the improvement. You just want to see some type of improvement. Or 1 game better, 2 games better, 3 games. We want to see improvement. Then year 3, you want to say, all right, now I see the direction that you're going in. I like it. I'm agree with it, or I disagree with it. Let's go in another direction. That's how I do it. Year 3, Bill Napier came in, did what he had to do, shaky start, finish strong. Good. I can look forward to year 4, and pretty much we're running back the same schedule. That's pretty much what we're doing. We pretty much got the same schedule running it back. So we should see how that goes. But yeah, give Bill Belichick some time. If you want to stick around for 3 years, for the whole 5 years, let him stick around for the whole 5 years and see what he does. If he dips in for the NFL after year 1, hey, he's an NFL champion. What you expect? But those in Chapel Hill, give him 3 years at least. Let's give him 3 years, see what he can bring, see what he can build up, and see what he can do. That's all I'm saying. All right. Look at, he got his own short sleeve hoodie. See, North Carolina understood the assignment. Gotta give them kudos for that. They understood the assignment. So looking forward to that. Now, returning home coaches. Well. Coaches who were successful at one place left, and now they are coming back home. Starting with Scott Frost. He's returning to UCF. Now, when I went to UCF for that 1 year, Scott Frost was the head coach. Just to let y'all know. It's good to see Scott Frost returning. He did take some time off from coaching after the disaster that happened at his alma mater at Nebraska. It didn't work out. But Scott Frost is back at UCF. My question for Scott Frost, and from the question, this is the main question. Can you rekindle of what you did your first time around? What changes do you need to make? Now, this is a new era than when you was first here to make sure that you can replicate the success that you had with Scott Frost. That man had a team that went undefeated. They went 13-0. The problem back then was they played in a conference called the American Conference. And those of you who are not familiar with the American Conference, that is a group of 5 conference. Different than basketball. In basketball, if you're in the American Conference, you'll consider a major conference. So in basketball, it goes SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, American, Big East. Those are your major conferences in basketball. It's different than football. In football, you have to Power 4. ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12. That's it. Your group of 5, you get one group of 5 team, which was Boise State this year. You get one group of 5 team in the playoffs. Scott Frost don't have to worry about that now. He's no longer planning the less tier role in college football now. He's at a level playing field now. You in the Big 12 now, Scott Frost. So what you did in the American Conference may not work in the Big 12 now. Because when you're in the American Conference, you was a group of 5 team. Nobody respected you because you didn't play nobody in the Power 4, well, back then Power 5 conference, because the Pac-12 was alive then. Nobody respected you then. That's why you can go 13-0 and beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl, and you can claim yourself national champions, because nobody cared. Because it was the American Conference you came from. If we're speaking facts here. But now you have an opportunity to head back down to Orlando, Florida. See if you can rekindle what you did. And this time, instead of having to talk and try to point your way into it, all you got to do is do what you did. Go undefeated, win the Big 12. You're in the playoffs, sir. But it's different now. You have an NIL going on. You have transfer portals now. So it's more than just recruiting high school players. Can you get the transfer portals and get those players in there to come to UCF, come down to Orlando? And Orlando's a very good city, by the way. I don't think anybody would complain about going to Orlando here. If we're being completely honest. Walt Disney, Islands of Adventure. You can watch the Magic play if you want to. You can enjoy the variety of things you can do in Central Florida, because it is Central Florida, by the way. But people love to visit. That's not like now to most people, it's not like Miami, but it's still Central Florida we're talking about here. It's still Orlando, by the way. But Scott Frost, you're now on a level playing field, sir. What can you do to rekindle? Still gonna give you the same 3 years that I just talked about with Bill. I'm still gonna give you the same 3 years. You want to be what it is because you haven't been here in a while. So you gotta learn. You gotta get back on the horse and remember how Orlando works. So year 1 can be what it is, and year 2, I want to see a little bit of improvement, and then year 3, I want to know what's the direction you taking the UCF Knights. And, oh yeah, we no longer call the Black Knights; they are called the Knights now, just the Knights. So, how you going to recruit? How you going to use the transfer portal? What you're going to do, Scott Frost, to put UCF back in a position to be relevant again? Gus Malzahn, he started off good, then he tailed off for some reason. Now he's the offensive coordinator at Florida State under Mike Noel, which tells me he got sick and tired of being a head coach. He's been worn out being a head coach. Why? I have no idea why, but that's what's going on. But Scott Frost is not the only one who returned home. That was a major news. Rich Rodriguez is back at West Virginia. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Rich Rod back with WVU. And those of you who are new and don't know about Rich Rod, if you ever watched the Pat McAfee show, Pat McAfee was his punter there. Other than that, if you ever heard the name of Pat White, have you heard the name of Stedman Bailey? Have you heard the name of Tavon Austin? Just to give you some names that you might have heard of. It was our coach under Rich Rodriguez. Those times when you saw West Virginia being that team in the Big East, when it was the Big East at the time, that was Rich Rodriguez as the head coach. Now, things happen. Personal things got in the way. And the exit was the exit between Rich Rod and West Virginia. 17 years later, here we are. Rich Rod is back at Morgantown, West Virginia, to coach the Mountaineers yet again. The same questions that I posed to Scott Frost that I posed to you. And by the way, when y'all two was coaching your teams, like I said, Scott Frost and UCF, that was part of the American. When you was coaching West Virginia, you was not part of the Big 12. You was part of the Big East at the time. And that's when the Big East had West Virginia, Miami, Louisville, Syracuse. Yeah, West Virginia, the Big East was actually a compass to kind of reckon with in football because of how it is in basketball. That's pretty much how it went. But Rich Rod is not there. They go to the Big 12. Rich Rod's he's been in Michigan, he's been in Arizona, Jacksonville State. Hell of a job at Jacksonville State. Dismantle your competition for the conference title up for the Conference USA. That's dismantle them. And they just had beat you the previous week. So you came in with a whole new game plan and you smacked them in the mouth and this destroyed them. See what they do in their bowl game. They have a bowl game either Thursday or tomorrow or Friday. I don't remember which one it is, but they have a bowl game coming up this week. I know that much. See how Jacksonville State ends that season. But Rich Rod's back home. How? Because you still been the call, so you know about the NIL, you know about the transfer portal. So you know about it to a lesser degree down in the Conference USA level. But now you in the Big 12, sir. Now you in the same playing field that Scott Frost wanted to be at. Now he is. You saw what Iowa State and Arizona State did. You saw what Arizona State did to Iowa State. Now they're in the playoffs. We have a 12-team playoff. We're going to go to 16 either next year or the year after. I think it's 2026 they go to 16. 16 is coming. So how you going to use what you did? Can you use what you did at Jacksonville State to bring to Morgantown, West Virginia? Is there a sizzle coming back? Because Pat McAfee is hyped. He said that Pat White is happy. There's a buzz. There's a sizzle in Morgantown now. There's a renewal of fresh air up in West Virginia because Rich Rod is where he's supposed to be. It's where he's belonged the whole entire time. But Rich Rodriguez, how will you use what you know from Jacksonville State that you can incorporate in a big conference like the Big 12 now? Where all you have to do is win your conference and you're in the playoffs. You might actually get a bye too, because we don't know what they're going to change this whole bye thing. But that is on the table to discuss at the end of the season. But win your conference and you're automatically in the playoffs, sir. Something that you did when you was at West Virginia, when you was in the Big East. You got to the Sugar Bowl, Either Sugar Bowl or Orange Bowl. I can't remember which one. And you had a business in that bowl. You beat Georgia in a bowl game. You beat somebody else in a bowl game. I can't remember off the top of my head. You have New Year's 6 wins on your resume. They weren't called New Year's 6 wins, by the way. Those called something else. But you have those on your resume at West Virginia. So what can you switch up? What can you do to bring to the blue and gold or the gold and blue, whichever way you want to put it, nation, so that they can see what it was like 17, 18, 19, 20 years ago when the West Virginia was on one under Pat White as the quarterback. You had Tavon Nelson, you had Stedman Bailey, you had studs, you had dogs on the Mountaineers under you, sir. Let's see what it brings. Because I'm looking forward to these coaching changes. Bill Belichick getting his first taste in the college football. Scott Frost is back at UCF. And then Rich Rodriguez is back at West Virginia. I'm looking forward to these, okay? Because this is what it is all about. All right. So, with that being said, we're going to take a break here. Because when we come back, it's that time. As I put this up here, it is the CFP playoffs. The first round begins Friday. Then you have a triple header on Saturday. We're going to preview the 4 games of the first round. We're going to talk about it. And let's see how this 12-team playoffs get us started on our road from 12 to 1.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join Ryan McCarthy
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
and Dustin Henry
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
as they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
Shop hats and official sports gear at Lids. Lids is the leader and #1 destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you, making it the perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gear. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback adjustable fitted hat or beanie from thousands of college and pro teams. Browse the very latest sports jerseys and t-shirts from the best teams out there. Lids has officially licensed professional and college sport team apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country. Locker Rooms by Lids.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening.
this Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern.
Exclusively on Sartoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your Commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Monday at 3:05 p.m. Eastern, 2:05 p.m. Central. Exclusively on the Sertoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where my soldiers? Left side.
All right, welcome back to Bearing Down and Gridiron, people. And we're just gonna get into it. We're gonna talk the first round of CLP because it's that time. We waited. We got our brackets. We had our disagreements, our likes, our dislikes about it, especially with the Alabama SMU thing and how the buys work and all that stuff. But all that talking is now facetious. Now we can strictly talk about the games themselves. The first round begins on Friday, ladies and gentlemen, December 20th, 8 p.m. ABC, ESPN, as the 10th seed Indiana Hoosiers, led by Coach of the Year, Kurt Cinetti, who took an Indiana team that was down in the dumps of the Big Ten. And he came over there with a lot of his JMU players. That would be James Madison. Came over. And they have put this program in a position that it never thought it would be in this quickly. In the playoffs, 11-1 on the season. The one loss coming to the Ohio State at the Horseshoe in a top 5 matchup. They're the 10 seed. They are in South Bend for a Indiana showdown with number 7, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been a team that cannot be reckoned with ever since the loss to Northern Illinois in week 2. They have ripped off 10 straight wins, none of which has been particularly close. That last game they played was back on November 30th, Thanksgiving week. But the USC chosen in that rivalry game for the Georgia lady was good for the first 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, Notre Dame took over to win 49-35. They took on an undefeated Army team at one point in time, and they beat them 49-14. They took on an undefeated Navy team at one point in time, beat them 51-14. Notre Dame has been on one, but so has Indiana. Those who just, this the battle for Indiana. It's the battle to get to the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs. Now, what you have here, you have one team that likes to score points. I mean, after Indiana lost to Ohio State, and that was 38-15. That next game, that was the other in-state rivalry with the Purdue Boilermakers, and they just beat them down 66-0. And outside of the Ohio State game, they had scored 20 points or more in every game. And outside of the Michigan game, when they won 20-15, outside of that, they have put up 30. And that's about in every game. Yeah, I mean 30. Florida International 31-7. Western Illinois 77. They went to UCLA and put up 42. Hosted Charlotte 52. Maryland 42. Northwestern 41. Nebraska 56. Washington 31. Michigan State 47. These dudes put up points. There's no way around it. They put up points. They can score. But here's the thing. They have a quarterback in Curtis Rook, who is over 2,800 yards passing. That is 2,827 yards passing with 27 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. On the other side, Ryan Leonard, the quarterback for Notre Dame, just over 2,000 yards passing, closing in on 2,100 yards passing with 16 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. As you can tell, Notre Dame doesn't really do passing like that. They are a running team, though, because Mr. Love, the running back for Notre Dame, has 15 rushing touchdowns on the season. And he's closing in on a 1,000-yard season. But Indiana can run the ball, too. Mr. Ellis has 800 yards rushing with 10 rushing touchdowns. This is going to come down to some defenses. Now, shout out to Kurt Cincinnati, coach of the year. Very deservedly so, because nobody's seen this turnaround in Indiana in year one under you. And you have done a hell of a job, sir. Okay, got to give you credit. Speaking of coaching, Marcus Freeman is expected to get a long-term contract extension from Notre Dame. Didn't see that coming either. But I'm thinking with the fact that he got them into the playoffs in year one of the new 12-team playoffs, that they are feeling like we can hold on to Marcus Freeman for a little while longer to see how this goes and how does he involve and move forward after this experience, whenever this experience ends for Notre Dame. It's going to be 27 degrees expected at kickoff time. 27 degrees. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. And we're talking this prime time too, 8 p.m. in Notre Dame, at Indiana. 27 degrees. Ooh, it's going to be cold. They ain't say nothing about snow. It could snow. You never know. But it's going to be cold. I want to see how this goes. Because the only time Kurt Cincinnati seen a team like Notre Dame was Ohio State. Didn't go somewhere. You lost by 23. That was at Ohio State, by the way. Now you're going to South Bend in a rivalry game that has not been played in quite some time. And people that lives in Indiana, they are happy to see this game renewed and for a bigger price this time. So which defense is my question? Which defense wants to show up in South Bend? Because somebody gonna have to make a stop to give their team the opportunity to win the game. I can see both officers handling business, but what defense? Because I have seen Notre Dame's defense. Notre Dame can play some defense. They can be had, but they can play some defense too. They can play defense. So I like where this is going. So the winner of this matchup, ladies and gentlemen, want y'all to know that y'all have all your information in front of you. I want you to be very prepared. So the winner of this Indiana Notre Dame game, they will see Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl December 31st, New Year's Eve at 7:30 p.m. Actually, no, that's the wrong slide. Take that back. That's this slide here. I'll come back to the Notre Dame winner. All right. There's two games. I want y'all to know before I get. There are two games I'm looking at that is pressure-wise situation. This is one of them. Penn State, the 6th seed, hosting 11th seed SMU. This will begin Saturday's triple header. 12 p.m. TNT and Max. So you have TNT or you have Max. That's the station you're looking at. Remember, this is part of the deal that Inside the NBA is moving to ABC and ESPN starting next season for the NBA season. And in return, TNT and Turner Sports, they get to have some college football games, including college football playoff games, in exchange for this. So that's something that happened with the NBA, ESPN, or so I say Walt Disney and Turner Sports. So this is how this all came about, which is a good thing. This is a good thing because Inside the NBA no longer needs to be on hiatus. They can still do what it do for my basketball people out there. But this game right here, this is one of the pressurized games here. Penn State, you made it to the Big Ten championship game. You put up a hell of a fight against Oregon, but Oregon came out on top. They had like a 3-point victory or something, three-point victory, I think. But nevertheless, Penn State, you put up a hell of a fight. You came out on top. You get a home playoff game. It's gonna be a whiteout at noontime. TNT, Max. You have SMU come walking in. SMU gets in off the fact that they came back from being down 17 earlier to Clemson in the ACC championship game, made it a game to where a 56-yard field goal won it at the buzzer for Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers. That get SMU in and then put in, the likes of Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, stuff like that. I'm not going to rehash that whole thing. If you want to go back and listen to it, go listen to our last episode before this one when we talked about the CFP fallout. Myself, Cole Johnson, and Brian Snow, we talked about did the committee make the right decision and all that. So go back and listen to that episode. I'm not going to rehash it here. But you have a game here. 8.5 favorite are the Lincoln Lions at home. Okay. And what you have here is a team in Penn State. There's only one reason why this is a pressurized game. James Franklin, This is your make it or break it game right here, sir. This is your make it or break it game right here. Because number one, we have said this numerous times. When it comes to big games, you don't win. You lost 2 games on the season. You lost at home to Ohio State. I mean, there was a great opportunity for you to win that game. You got stopped on the goal line 4 times. And then I believe Ohio State ran the rest of the 7 minutes I was on the clock out by running the football down your throat. That's the first big game that you had this year. You lost that one. The second big game that you had was against Oregon that we just talked about. Hell of a showing. Good fight. You still lost. But nevertheless. There's a saying that's been going around with in the football world. Those of you who haven't known, it goes something like this. The teams up north say that the teams down south can't handle playing in weather that is typical at this point in time up north. What I mean by that, as we talked about Indiana, right? Well, Universal Park down in Pennsylvania, it's going to be 27 degrees around kickoff time. 27 degrees, a little cloudy with the sun out. They felt like Penn State should not be able to lose to SMU. So with people up north thinking that way about people down south and that they can't handle the weather up north, James Franklin, if the SMU Mustangs who are in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, okay, mostly on the Dallas side than the Fort Worth side, but Dallas, Texas, the SMU Mustangs, if they walk up there, if they travel to college, or to Happy Valley, should I say, if they travel to Happy Valley and they come out victorious against the Nittany Lions, I wouldn't be surprised if James Franklin's job is on the line. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And definitely the fact that it's a Big Ten school losing to an ACC school definitely don't look good for the Big Ten, and Big Ten will not be happy. So, James Franklin, this is a pressurized game for you, sir, because as I mistakenly made, and that's on me, the winner of this game will see Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. New Year's Eve, you're going to be in a dome if you win this game. You're going to be in a dome. 7:30 to bring in the new year. By the time that game is over on New Year's Eve, we'll be walking to the new year. So, James Franklin and the Penn State Lifting Lions. That is a lot of pressure on you guys, if I'm being completely honest. Because we always say James Franklin always lose games in the big pressurized games. This is a pressurized game because this is the first year that we have playoff games at home stadiums. You got Notre Dame starting it off Friday. That game can go either way because both Indiana teams, and this has been a rivalry that hasn't been happening for years, but now that it's happening, it's for a playoff spot, move on to the quarterfinals, stuff like that. Kurtson has done a hell of a job. Marcus Freeman, he has some hiccups here and there, but the team is rolling. This is different. LSU got in because they made a hell of a showing against Clemson after they was getting their ass drilled in the first half. You're up north. You're in Pennsylvania. Now you have a team from the South coming up there, from the Mid-South at that. Talking about Texas. Texas is close to the Midwest. It's more like in the Midwest part than the Eastern part. So they coming up there and they come out victorious. Really? Man, look here. You are 8.5 favorite at home. Here's the interesting thing. Allard closing in on 2,900 yards passing. He has thrown for 2,894 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. TJ Warner, they stud tight end. He's a 1,000-yard receiver with 6 receiving touchdowns. Here's the crazy part. You're going against SMU. SMU has a firepower offense. Kevin Jennings has thrown for over 3,000 yards this season. 3,050 yards passing. He has 22 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Don't get it twisted. They can run the ball too. Because Brian Smith, 1,270 yards rushing with 14 touchdowns. You're not dealing with this anyhow. You're dealing with an explosive offense who can run and pass the football. But I heard a lot about Big Ten football. And it's physical. It's very physical in the Big Ten. Well, guess what? That physical defense better be on display at home against SMU, because if not, You don't want to be in a shootout. You don't win shootouts. I've seen Penn State. Penn State don't win shootouts. They just don't. They can put up points. They can put up points, but they don't win shootouts. You lost by 8 to Oregon in the Big Ten Championship, 45-37. You was in a tight game against Ohio State, and you lost because you couldn't get the ball in the zone from the 1 yard line. Will the pressure that's going to be heaped on Penn State be the detriment to James Franklin Company? Before I continue on, I have a guest that's joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, from the morning shift with Coach Johnson. Y'all seen him on the program several times. Here he is, Mr. Coach Johnson. Happy holidays, sir.
Come on, Penn State. Oh, happy holidays to you, sir. I'm sorry. Come on, Penn State. Beat down SMU. I'm sorry.
That is the fan side of Coach Johnson. I need the analyst side of Coach Johnson. I call this 1 or 2 pressurized games because it involves Penn State.
Yeah.
And anytime we talk about Penn State, we focus on one person.
Mm-hmm. The head coach of that team.
So how do you feel about this game? Is in Happy Valley. Is at noon.
Yes.
And the weather, according to the weather right now, because I'm looking at it on ESPN, we're talking 27 degrees at kickoff.
So it's going to be cold, which it should be late December in Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania at that. All right. So, yeah, that's not ideal weather for those that live in Dallas, but it's cold sometimes in December, in January, February. I have to look at the ranking. Okay. James Franklin stands a chance. Because if that ranking for SMU was like 9 or higher, I would say L right off the bat. Because I think James Franklin has an allergy. And I think he's allergic to winning against top 10 programs. I don't know what it is. It's whenever a program has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. The program seems like they're allergic to beating them. But SMU is 11th. They should have no problems.
So they should have no problems. Okay.
No.
So I want people to understand this, because if you haven't watched the ACC, because the ACC was what the ACC usually is this for the past.
It was forgotten about.
We're talking about the SMU team that's explosive passing and running. It's not just one way. They can do both. And they can do both effectively.
I'm not throwing effective shade toward SMU. I mean, they were the ACC runner-ups for a reason. And they gave the Dabo Swinney's a run for their money. I mean, it had to take a field goal at the end of regulation to do it. So they were behind by, I think, multiple scores, and they feverishly stormed back. So this group has fight, and you cannot underestimate them. I think the one issue that I probably am going to see, and all joking aside, I think one issue that I really do see when it comes to this Nittany Lions team is that they seem to, and they tend to, overlook their opponent a little too much, and they play down to the competition. Now, they can't play down too much to this competition because they're about even. So they play down to that competition, they will lose this game, even if it is in Happy Valley.
And if they lose this game, James Franklin's job might be on the line.
It should have been on the line. The dude, has he gotten to double digits in losses to Ohio State yet?
I don't think so.
Lord have mercy. I mean, he only has one win against that program. His whole entire tenure there. One. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he only has one win against Michigan too. One.
So that's what we have here. And the winner of this game will see Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl.
Penn State's gonna lose that game.
So that's how important that is. Now, sir, before I continue on, I already talked about the battle for Indiana. I'm gonna give you your opportunity to talk about the battle of Indiana.
All right. Well, congratulations to Hoosiers. This is the first time in memory for me that they decided to play as high in standard as their basketball counterparts back in the 1980s. I don't think I've ever witnessed an Indiana University football program achieve top 10 status. So congratulations to that. To only stub their toe in the Big Ten against Ohio State, I give you mad credit for that. Now, Notre Dame, October, November, they played wonderfully. They played in the way they should have played all year long. And they were predicted to actually play like this all year long. My issue with them is they decided to take Northern Illinois lightly. And I still stand by what I said. Because they lost to Northern Illinois, Notre Dame should not have been ranked any higher than 10. That should have been their tax they paid for losing to a team like Northern Illinois in South Bend. However, let me see if I can put it in a nice way. The college football playoff committee, they possess no those stones, no balls, and they decided to rank them higher because they had a stellar rest of the 2024 season. I mean, they skunked USC, they skunked Purdue, they beat down Army like they stole something in New York. I mean, they had stellar play the rest of the season, and they were wowed by that. Mr. Freeman, I'm still looking at you in your program. You failed because you should have run the table. You were favored in every single game this year, including the one you lost. You should have run the table, my friend. Should have run the table.
All right. The winner of that game will see Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
Well, they better get their jollies in now because
the slides a little later. I messed up the slides, but yeah, the winner of that game will be seeing Georgia in the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans.
Yeah, but they better get the jollies in now because when whoever wins this game, they play against Georgia. They're going to be in for a physical battle. Them boys do not play.
All right. Boys do not play. Moving on. As you see here, there's the slide right there. Indiana, Notre Dame winning plays Georgia. That would be on New Year's Day, 8:45. That would be the nightcap on New Year's Day. That's the nightcap.
Mm-hmm.
Down in New Orleans. So the way to bring in your 2025 after the first day, Notre Dame or Indiana versus Georgia. Our second game on our trip ahead of Saturday takes us to a familiar place to one Coach Johnson. Austin, Texas, where the 5th seed Longhorns of Texas are hosting the ACC champions, the Fighting Dabbles of Clemson University, the Tigers. 4 p.m. TNT and Max. So, sir, this is your team.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you first word.
Okay. Longhorns, you disappointed me. I know I should be happy you're SEC runner-up, that you had a playoff spot locked down before you even got to the SEC championship game. I know I should be happy. I ain't. You had a wounded dog on the field. You should have smelled blood. You let up. And you got trounced in the second half. And that's what you deserve to get let up on because you should be where Georgia is now. You should be kicked back waiting for whoever's going to be the winner of Indiana and Notre Dame to trace down to New Orleans in the Caesars Superdome and play them in the Sugar Bowl. That's what you should have been doing because you should have played as though this team punked you by 15 points in your own crib. Oh, that's right. They did. And then you give me, except for the defense gave me maximum effort. You give me minimal effort most of the way. You had a good drive here and a good drive there, but you gave me minimal effort. And yeah, you can be happy. Yay, we get to play in Austin. We get to have a playoff game on campus. Big deal. The goal ain't to get here. The goal is to get a national championship, and the goal is to make it as easy as possible to get there. You should have had the number 2 seed locked down. You failed. Now, take that energy of the failure, beat down the Dabo Swinney's, and then when you go on and play, I think it's Arizona State, beat them down. No. Yeah, beat them down severely.
So
now for Clemson, you stub your toe when you played Georgia. You stub your toe again when you played South Carolina. And now you get your third shot and your third crack at an SEC team. How can I put this? I don't like your chances. I think that's the best way I could put it. I don't like your chances.
Here's my thing here. I know Cole Johnson will attest to this. When Miami lost to Syracuse, shout out to our brother, Cool McCain.
Cool McCain, the you.
I sat here on this program and I said, well, y'all gave Dabo Swinney second life.
Yeah, they did.
And the scary part about that is he's going to take that second life and he's not going to blow it. Sure enough, had SMU down 17 at halftime.
And almost blew it.
And you can just hear Tide Nation all the way down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They about to get in because they are putting a beating on SMU.
That's right. Roll Tide. Even with them 3 losses. Roll Tide.
And until SMU came back and lost by a field goal.
Well, we have to reevaluate strength of schedule.
We're not gonna rehash that. We talked about that on the last show. If you want to hear all that, go back to the last episode. We went in on that part, okay? And we're not gonna do it here. This is all about the first round matchups.
I'm sorry. That the 18th from Alabama needed that butt. He needed his butt whooped for that. He needed his butt whooped for that.
So Dabo Swinney is heading to a very warm place, sir.
Yeah,
in your building,
mm-hmm.
It's looking like it's gonna be 61.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, no, that's temperate. That's normal. That's how it is around this time of year. And that's the average wise, that's the coldest that Texas gets. So, well, at least Austin on down south. So, doesn't surprise me. It's going to be for Texans cold. For most other people, balmy and warm,
like Clemson.
Right.
We're gonna feel like a normal day to them.
Yeah, so they won't be affected. So yeah, and I knew that weather won't be a factor in this game unless it rained or it was sleeting. And it can at times sleet down there, but it's rare.
And here's the funny thing when I look at
the weather's fine.
We're talking about a 10-3 Clemson team who won the Atlantic Coast Conference, right?
Correct.
Most people should say don't even deserve it, no, but hey, Miami screwed it up.
Well, it doesn't matter if they don't deserve it or not. They're one of the 2 best teams in the ACC. They earned it.
We talked about Cam Ward, and I mentioned Cam Ward winning the Davey O'Brien Trophy. That's the best quarterback in football.
Congratulations. He's one of my favorite players in college football right now.
But Caleb Klubnik has thrown for with 3,300 yards. And I don't think a lot of people know that.
No. Like I said, the only thing we know about ACC, people didn't even know the SMU belonged to SEC. I mean,
we're talking 33 touchdowns to 5 interceptions.
The only thing people knew about the ACC was that the U was coming back and Florida State was sticking up the joint. That's the only thing we knew about the AC. Oh, and Florida was suing to get out the conference.
Those makes this conversation so crazy because Cole Johnson, you've been around football longer than I have.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear a quarterback that's throwing for 3,300 yards with 33 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, That's who everybody's talking about.
No, that's who everybody should be talking about. But it's amazing you're not hearing a lot of talk about him, aren't you?
No.
Mm-hmm.
3,303 yards passing with 33 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. That man's almost at 7-to-1 ratio.
In college.
We talking close to 7-to-1. And we ain't talking about Caleb Cutlet. He wasn't mentioning in the Heisman finalist. He wasn't even mentioning about the David O'Brien award.
Nope.
The only two quarterbacks that was mentioned in the Heisman were Dylan Gabriel from Oregon and Cam Ward from Miami.
That's correct.
So I'm looking for. This tells me Clemson has an offense when it's clicking.
It does.
But as you said earlier, this is their third crack at a Southeastern Conference team.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a conference that plays defense. Georgia held them to 6 in week 1. South Carolina walked into the ACC's Death Valley and held them to 14.
Yeah. That's why I say for Clemson, I don't like their chances.
Now, my question for Texas.
Ooh, wrong day.
Do you still believe in Trent Urias? Or do we need to see Archie Manning?
Well, I don't want to see Archie Manning because that means that means we'll be seeing a very, very, very old man.
His name actually might be Archie Manning, by the way.
His name probably is Archie Manning, but he's not known as Archie. But I'm sure he probably is known. He probably was named Archie. He's known as Arch. I think it's time for. Dang! Now this is the messed up part. I think it is time for them to turn the page to Arch Manning, but I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think Sarkisian's going to do it now.
Because
but, man, he was
game,
so massively disappointed in the SEC championship, though.
I was just saying, because in that SEC championship game, Quinn Ewers did not look good at all. Somehow Georgia knows what Georgia he doesn't know how to play against Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia is his kryptonite because he looked bad both games he played against them.
And you thought game 2 he'll actually look better from what happened in game 1.
Mm-hmm. He did not look much.
Now, to be fair, he's closing in on 2,700 passing yards with 25 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, he's had some good games.
You at home?
None of them against. Well, he has lost one home game. Guess which one? Guess who played them?
Georgia.
Exactly.
Top 10 showdown in Austin, Texas, and Austin, and the Longhorns were the number 1 team in the country.
Mm-hmm. And he tanked that, and he tanked the SEC championship game.
Technically, the last 2 games they haven't looked good. Now you won at Texas A&M, but that was not a good offensive showing.
No, it wasn't a good one. Well, they did run the ball pretty well. They just couldn't throw it. Would I want a bigger offensive output? Yeah, but thankfully that defense came to play and they shut those maroon and white dummies down, which makes me always happy.
So the question is one for Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers: can you handle the defense from the SEC? You have a third crack at it with the Longhorns. And on the Texas side, Steve Sarkisian, you the offensive man, right?
That's his specialty.
What you gonna do to get your offense going?
Woofing to the refs ain't it.
Because this 12-point favorite that y'all are, which Coach Jones would tell you, I highly disagree with.
That's too high.
12-point favorites.
I
get you at home.
That's almost extremely motivational for Clemson to come out and just straight outright beat Texas, just because of that.
And a head coach like that was saying, you don't think he ain't gonna use that?
Yeah.
We are a conference champion, and we are a 12-point underdog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the conference champion is a 12-point underdog to another conference's runner-up. Yes, yes. They were ranked number one for a time, and they were ranked number two for a time too. Yes, and they actually are still ranked number two. No, they're ranked number three technically. But Texas is not. I'm saying this as a Texas fan. They're not 12 points better than Clemson. They're not. Now, if their offense was more explosive, I'd say yeah. It's not. They're not 12 points better. They're better, but they're not 12 points better.
That's just I don't like
That's
that number. I'm just all I'm saying. I just don't like that number. I really
I'll
don't.
I'll cop. That's disrespectful to Clemson.
I really don't. But the winner of this game, as he mentioned earlier, will be seeing the Big 12 champions, the Arizona State Sun Devils, at the very place that his Longhorns took their second L in.
Yeah, now don't have PTSD and then go to the Mercedes-Benz stadium and say, "Oh no, L." No, no. Beat Arizona State down.
And those of you who need clarity, the reason why Arizona State has traveled to Georgia to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta is because with the Fiesta Bowl being in Arizona.
It's in Glendale. It's in Glendale. Their school's in Tempe, which both are in the Phoenix area. Yes, I get it.
They didn't want to give Arizona State a complete home field
advantage.
So that's why Boise State used to go there.
And they get shipped out. I wouldn't care. I'm like, no, make it so, please.
And the other reason is because obviously Atlanta is in what state?
Georgia.
They didn't want to put Georgia right back in that stadium they just played it. So that's why Georgia's in New Orleans.
Well, again, I wouldn't care. Put them there. But
so those who just need clarity, that's what it is.
I get it. They NCAA wants fairness. They want a neutral site game feel. I get it. Bump that. This is Arizona State won the Big 12. Put them in the Fiesta. Since Georgia won the SEC, put them in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
So that's why it's the way it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, winner of this game will be seeing Arizona State. New Year's Day, 1 p.m. That's 1 p.m. That's going to kick off.
Yes, the early game of the three.
That's going to kick off the New Year's festivities.
So Boise must be the Rose, right?
No, Boise is playing this New Year's Eve.
Oh, they're playing New Year's Eve. That's right.
New Year's Eve.
So that's orange then. Okay.
No, that'll be the Rose. No, that'll be the Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, Fiesta. Oh, I thought the Fiesta was the day after.
The Orange Bowl, and the Cotton Bowl are your semifinal games.
Oh, Orange and Cotton is semifinals. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then my second pressure point game of round 1 takes us to the final game of the first round. Saturday night, the nightcapper at the Horseshoe of Columbus, Ohio. December 21st, 8 p.m. ABC ESPN. The Tennessee Volunteers from the Southeastern Conference travel to the Horseshoe to take on the 8th seed Buckeyes of Ohio State. If you notice, that I said I had 2 pressure point games, and if you also notice, they feature 2 Big Ten teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I wonder
is
why
it the same reason?
This one?
Is it the same reason, Playmaker, or why you said the same thing about Penn State? Yes, it is. Because on Ryan Day's behind, Ryan Day's on more of a hot seat than James Franklin, in my opinion.
Well, I think Ryan Day will be fine. Now, if Tennessee decided to chuck their orange and white and decided to put on the maize and blue, then that hot seat will be hot.
No, that hot seat is already hot.
And forget the T, put the M on the helmet.
No, that hot seat is already hot. There have been some rumblings, Mr. Cole Johnson, that a former Buckeye is in line to get that job.
Who, Eddie George?
No, Mike Vrabel. There's some rumblings about Mike Vrabel heading to old Buckeye Nation. There's some rumblings.
Okay.
Notice I said rumblings. I didn't say news. I said rumblings.
I know that.
There's
That's why
there's a difference.
That's why Ryan Day will be on the sideline 2025, and he'll get his butt kicked in when they go to Ann Arbor.
Now, this breaks.
And yes, I'm saying this 11 and a half months from the game. Yes.
This
Ohio State gonna get whooped by Michigan and Ann Arbor. I'm sorry, my bad.
The Fins has been recorded. It's been said on numerous programs. The Fins have turned on Ryan Day. They have been turned off by Ryan Day. And why? Because you lost to a woeful, and I do mean woeful, Michigan team in the horseshoe.
I thought they turned on him the last time Michigan beat them in Columbus.
No, Michigan won a national championship, so that kind of softened the burden. They won a national championship.
That don't matter. Ohio State was considered a national championship contender that year.
There was, but you have to realize Michigan won a national championship. Nothing you can do about it. Then you come into this year, you have the highest paid roster in college football, $20 million.
Not highest paid roster. When did we think we would ever say that about a college football team?
Exactly. $20 million of NIL on this roster. You had a big game against Oregon. You lost by 1 for stupid reasons, but hey, we will get past that stupid stuff.
But I love that quarterback scramble. That was beautiful. That was genius.
Speaking of the stupid reason. All right, you had another big game. You had to go to Penn State. You shut them out the end zone from the 1-yard line 4 times.
Great goal line stand, yeah.
And then you proceeded to run the rest of the clock out by running the ball down their throats in front of their own people. As we talked about earlier when we talked about Penn State.
You would actually think that Ryan Day actually possessed a brain.
Ran the ball down their throat and ran the rest of the clock out. Penn State didn't even see the ball. And we're talking about there was still almost half the quarter left. That's how bad that was. And that's why James Franklin got what he got that the week after. We had another big game at home against Indiana. We wanted to see how Indiana matches up to a team like Ohio State because they haven't played nobody because nobody thought Indiana would be where they were at this year.
And people were like, oh, this might be a new Ohio State.
You beat them by 23, as I mentioned earlier when we talked about Indiana and Notre Dame.
Oh, they're prepared for Michigan now. Yeah, they rolled Indiana. They didn't look past Indiana. They actually took them seriously and beat them down.
And then Michigan comes in and they hold you down to 10 points.
And you look past them.
A rivalry week, and you knew Michigan had 3 games on you. And this Michigan team was terrible, horrific, horrendous.
Yes.
You know they can only do one thing.
All they could do is run the ball.
And guess what they did to you?
Run the ball.
To a 13-10 win.
All they could do is run the ball. That's the only thing they could do. They barely could stop the run. They barely could stop the pass. They barely could throw. All they could do was run. You knew this. And you still get whooped. But I got to give you credit, though, Ohio State. I got to give you credit, Mr. Day. You all showed more fight at the end of that game than you did the 60 minutes prior.
If this was another program, I would have some words for the Ohio legislature, but this is not that program, so I'm gonna say that to 2 other people to handle that for me.
SOFT. Soft.
And one of the persons that's gonna hand that for me on his other program would be that man right there, Coach Johnson. That's
soft. Straight up soft.
Oh my gosh. If I had this was another program, I would. Anyway. Ohio State, I'm gonna give you the same treatment that I gave James Franklin and the Penn State Nittany Lions. Now I'm looking at it. It's projected to be 28 degrees at kickoff time, and we talking prime time.
Here's the difference. Tennessee, it can get that cold. Versus Texas, it rarely can get that cold. You can get that cold in Tennessee. Knoxville, it can get pretty cold. Now, am
You're
I
talking to a
saying
guy who lives in Nashville, Tennessee, right now?
right? Now, am I saying exactly? Now, am I saying because right now it's going to dip down actually to almost 27 for tomorrow morning. But am I saying that it gets as cold in Tennessee as it does in Ohio? No, but it gets that cold in Tennessee.
I hear that, but here's my point. Those people up north, what do they like to say? How one of them teams that play in the South come up here to this weather and see
Oh,
how it is?
well, that's fine.
Okay.
But
You
you
got a
can't say.
team. You got a team from the Southeast Conference,
Mhm,
the conference that y'all like to rival against.
mhm,
It's coming up to the horseshoe.
mhm.
Let Tennessee beat you.
In fact, I believe they are. I have zero faith in Ohio State, and I'm not the biggest Tennessee fan. I don't have no faith in Ohio State.
This coming from a guy who don't even like anything Tennessee sports wise.
Not really, except for maybe the Predators, but that's besides the point. Uh, I like Tennessee to a point, but here's the messed up part. Ohio State has the talent to beat them.
No doubt.
They have the talent to beat Tennessee. The problem is Ryan Day.
I mean, Will Howard, 2,860 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Jerkins, their running back, over 800 yards rushing with 8 touchdowns. You got Smith, who's a stud as a freshman receiver, 10 receiving touchdowns in his freshman season. But y'all lost to Michigan because they ran the ball down your throat. Guess it's a team that loves to run the ball too.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee. That
Tennessee
man
will
Simpson?
Well, you know from personal experience.
That man's closing in on 1,500 rushing yards. You know how many rushing touchdowns he has? 22. If all I think Michigan do is run the football. Now you going against a team who can pass and run the football, and they are more deadly running the football. And Tennessee don't turn the ball up either.
Yeah, they take care of the ball. Yeah.
Nico Imadiava only throwing 5 interceptions.
You got to outright be more physical than they are to beat them. That's the only way you can beat Tennessee.
In 12 games. 12 games. Eli Maniava only threw 5 interceptions in 12 games. He played Alabama. He played Georgia. He played Florida. He played South Carolina. Played Kentucky. He's only thrown 5 interceptions. Played a surprising Vanderbilt team, by the way. Only threw 5 interceptions. So right there. Now, Cole Johnson says, you'll be back. My issue is this. You lost to Michigan. This is the 4th consecutive time you lost to Michigan. The 4th consecutive time you lost to Michigan, by the way. Which means they beat you twice in the horseshoe.
Yep. 2 consecutive times in the horseshoe. That's right, sir.
Which was never done under the Urban Meyer era.
Nope.
I don't recall how many times it was done under the Jim Tressel era, but it wasn't that much.
It was never done in Jim Tressel era.
Never done it twice in 4 years.
Yeah, Michigan never beat Ohio State twice. Ever, I don't think, in the horseshoe when Jim Tressel coached them, much less 2 times in a row.
If you couple this with a loss to a Southeastern Conference team, because everything Coach Johnson said is factually true. But people ain't gonna think about that. They gonna look at it as that team is from the SEC. And everything all that trash talk we did about the SEC and they don't play in Northwestern and they came up here and beat Ohio State University in the horseshoe, you know the Big Ten gonna be pissed.
Not all, not all Southeastern Conference teams reside from Florida or Texas or Louisiana, even. Not all of them.
So I believe your two Big Ten teams that are representing you in the first round have head coaches whose jobs might be on the line this weekend.
See, there's a chance for you, James Franklin. You take an L to SMU, you still have your job. Ryan Day, you already have your job. You got Ohio State in the playoffs. Bump the fourth straight Michigan L you took. It's a good season.
That's the evil genius Coach Johnson right there, people. He wants to have another college football season where he can laugh at Ohio State.
Yes. Because they're stupid to keep this guy on the sideline because they're not responding to him. The tape players are not responding to him. And I'm not talking about Michigan. I'm talking about in general. They're not responding to him.
So this is it. And here's the more interesting part about this. The winner of this game, we'll be seeing Oregon in the Rose Bowl. The number one team in all of college football.
So Ohio State has motivation to beat this team. I don't think they will. They got motivation to beat them because they want to avenge one of the two losses that they took. Oh, that's right. You can't avenge the other L because Michigan ain't playing. Dummies.
And that Rose Bowl game would be, as per usual, New Year's Day, 5 p.m.
Oh, and while I'm at it, to those who want to be blockheaded and say, well, Penn State has the same amount of losses as Ohio State, and Ohio State beat Penn State. Before the Big Ten Championship, how many losses did Penn State have?
One.
Mm-hmm. And the second L they took, it was in a game that Ohio State could not play in, correct?
No.
So if you're going to say, well, one has two losses, the other has two losses, but we beat them, the end of the regular season, one team had one loss, the other team had two. Unfortunately, your team had two losses. And I said to you, Ohio State fan, the Michigan L you took messed you all up. And the committee decided to say, you know what? If you made it all the way to the championship game and you actually put forth a good effort, we're going to reward you with a good spot. So that's why Penn State is ranked ahead of Ohio State. Dummies. Take care of Michigan. You would not have had that problem.
See, this is what happens. So you got your matchups, all right? This is the first round. You got your one game Friday, the battle for Indiana at South Bend. 10 seed Indiana, 7 seed Notre Dame. And then you got your Saturday triple header. Penn State hosting SMU, Clemson at Texas, and the nightcap Tennessee at Ohio State. Now, before I get out of here, sir.
Okay.
Because I do know you want to talk some coaching. So I already did this, so I'm going to give you the floor. So I'm going to go back, and we're going to make this happen, starting from the beginning.
Lord.
So you had your coaching changes. The noticeable coaching changes, these three right here.
Mm-hmm.
And first up, Bill Belichick is in Chapel Hill.
Chapel Bill, that's hilarious. Well, this one is really simple. This is understandably the NFL saying to Bill Belichick, the game has passed you by, son. You're too old, you're too decrepit, and we don't like we're on to Cincinnati. Don't ask me no questions. You all suck. I don't want to do these interviews. I hate press conferences. They don't want you to be in one of those press conferences because they think you're boring and you wanted more control than people were willing to give you because they saw the years after Brady was there, and they saw that they saw that the Patriots were playing pretty much as horribly as they are now. So this basically was an indictment to the from the NFL saying, Bill, none of the 32 teams want you. If you want to coach, do it in another league. Voila, he is now North Carolina's head coach.
All right. Then we have returning home coaches. Scott Frost is coming back to UCF. But a different UCF because they are now in the Big 12.
Well, congratulations. I hope that you can pump blood back into UCF the way they were last decade. And now that you're in the Big 12, you won't have to put billboards all over Orlando saying we're the real champs if you go undefeated. Now you actually can run the table, be undefeated, and be national champions and hoist that crystal. No, it won't be crystal ball. Host that golden baton. I don't know what you want to call it. In the air.
Trophy.
Yeah, the trophy looking like a golden. Oh, yeah. You can hoist that golden cylinder in the air.
Jesus Christ.
That's right. No more "We're the real world champions" banners and billboards in Orlando.
He's on a level playing field now.
Exactly. I'm happy for UCF. They needed to be on a level playing field. They finally got there. And I'm happy for them. And I'm happy for Scott Frost returning. He was a player, now he's a coach, so I'm happy he's returning there.
Oh, boy. I want to know what you're going to do different, Scott Frost, because this is a different playing field now. This ain't the same when you was there the first time.
No.
And speaking of returning home, there was no bigger returning home than Mr. Rich Rodriguez back in Morgantown.
Well, Rich, it's good to see you back in college football. We've missed you. We have missed you so much, and I hope
you never left college football.
Well, he was so insignificant elsewhere. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back in Morgantown, and I hope everything is better with you. Oh,
so you just gonna disregard him being at Jacksonville State and winning the Conference USA?
Exactly.
Okay.
No, you knew about him because that's your stomping grounds. But still,
no, Jacksonville State's in Alabama.
Oh well, hey, it's still no, I'm probably close to Alabama, but still, Jacksonville State. That just goes to show how far you fell. But congratulations again. You're back in true college football college football land. Oh, and bottoms up. Oh, that's a poor taste. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Playmaker. That's the wrong of me.
Why? Why? Just why?
I gave him a toast. I mean, I was being polite.
Not how to. We don't want to talk about how the man exited West Virginia first time. Jeez.
Well,
that was
I'm just
17
saying.
years ago.
That might be how he leaves again. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, Bob Petrino returned to Arkansas. He decided to have a co-ed on his back. I mean, I can't help it.
Jeez.
They returned to their old behaviors. Urban Meyer, when he was the head coach of an NFL team, he missed Ohio State so much he went back to a watering hole in Columbus and was hollering at all sorts of 20-year-old hoes.
Well, yeah, and also they played Cincinnati on the Thursday night.
Right. Yeah. It was just a 2-hour drive northeast on I-71 and he had to pop a couple back because he had to drown that L he took on national television. He was like, "Oh, blonde hoes, this is beautiful. I missed y'all. Yeah, come and sit on daddy's lap. Yeah."
And as I said earlier,
I know I have girls as old as I know I have daughters as old as you, but that don't matter. You ain't my daughter. Sit on my lap. Come on, girl. Oh yeah. So I mean, Rich might turn the bottle down again.
oh my gosh, you is. Anyway, the same thing with Scott Frost and Rich Rod. Rich Rod, you're not in the Big East no more. You're in the Big 12 now.
Oh Lord. Well, I hope seriously. I hope that
this is a different landscape for Rich Rod.
Well, I know that Pat McAfee will be happy.
Oh, you can tell he's happy.
Mm-hmm.
You might be seeing Pat White more often now.
Oh gosh.
So there's a buzz in Morgantown right now with Rich Rod back in place. But which of the three coaches you looking forward to the most?
In terms of that word buzz, Rich. No, but in terms of what I'm curious to want to see, I just want to see how Bill Belichick. I want to see how he adjusts to actually coaching college. I know coaching period to him is nothing. I mean, he can coach a wet paper bag to play football, but I want to see how he will be knowing that he's not talking to professionals, but he's actually talking to junior professionals.
That's a good way of putting it. That's a very good way of putting it. Junior professionals.
You can't really call them amateurs anymore. Yeah, junior professionals. And I want to see how he would handle 18 to 22-year-olds. That's not his girlfriend.
I don't know what to say to you right now.
What? Did I lie?
As you can tell, Coach Johnson leaves no
Did I
stones.
say anything?
As you can tell, Coach Johnson leaves no stones unturned. Okay.
Did I utter a lie at any point in juncture?
Jeez. I don't know what to do with you, man. I really don't. Anyway, that's all for today. This man here. Between you and Cool McCain, I dealt with Cool on Monday with Monitor Wrestling. I got you on Burn Down the Gridiron.
I'm just speaking facts. That's all I'm doing. I can't help it. He's going to be coaching. I can't help it. He's going to be coaching guys who are not that much younger than his girlfriend. I can't help it. And the dude is 72. I can't help that. Dude is three times the age of his girlfriend. I can't help that.
No comment. No comment. I'm just gonna say no comment. Oh boy. But that's it. I'm going to sit back and watch how the Big Ten does in the first round. Because a loss by any other two programs, and it's gonna be anarchy, either in Happy Valley or at the Horseshoe. Yes, I said it. That's right.
Well, I'm here. I'm on record. James, Ryan, you can lose in Happy Valley and the Horseshoe, respectively. Your jobs are safe.
You are so petty.
What?
Because you want to continue.
They've had worse.
You want to continue to suck it. That's what you want to do.
They've had worse years, and they still had their jobs. I mean, this is as far as both the teams have gone in a while. I mean, look, they both ads a Penn State and Ohio State, they can actually say, well, you know what? You did a great job. You finished in the top 10. Wonderful job. Hopefully next year you can get higher up the chain to the national championship, but you finished in the top 10. Good job. Attaboy.
This is petty. Yeah, I just don't know it. This is petty. He's see, Coach Johnson's trying to set up for next season to be more of a laughing stock for him. So he can come right back on his program and continue what he's been doing.
Like I told you, you were saying that you heard rumblings of Ryan Day's job being gone and James Franklin's being gone. But when we get to August and September, we actually see those two still.
And when we get to November, he's gonna be saying, "See, this is what y'all get."
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I say. See, this is what you get. Another L that James Franklin takes to Ryan Day. This time it will be in a horseshoe, and then another L that Ryan Day takes at the big house. I mean, it doesn't get better. It don't get much better than that.
I'm looking at the Big Ten. Of course, he's looking at a certain game down in Texas.
Yes.
So, Steve Sarkisian, I hope you got your players ready because here come the fighting Dabos.
And what I said about Rich Rod, that goes for you too, Steve. Stay off it.
So let's go.
Don't get soft, son.
That's Coach Johnson. I'm the playmaker. Enjoy the first round of the college football playoffs. I will see y'all next week. He might be joining me next week as well to recap what took place in the first round and get ready for the quarterfinals. And who's playing who and what matchup looks good. And those of you, y'all might want to be careful because Ashton Genji is not a happy camper right now.
He shouldn't be.
Have a good one.